Hey, thanks for finding us here on YouTube. I'm meteorologist John Dawson. This is the Fox 26 YouTube tropical update, and things have kind of begun to calm back down just a little bit, especially in the Atlantic side of things. We certainly still have some activity going on in the Pacific, but at the moment, we're not looking for any sort of major activity happening in the Atlantic. Quick review, though, we kind of had Colin pop up quickly and sort of move right along the East Coast in the Carolinas. Now officially no longer being monitored, or no advisories at least being issued from the National Weather Service. So this is kind of the last position that they identified, what was left of Colin out there. And again, it just sort of moved along the East Coast there, and then fell apart, kind of moved, eventually kind of moving out, what's left of it at least, into the Atlantic. So Colin officially no more, if that was one that you were tracking. And from the National Hurricane Center in the Atlantic Basin, no tropical cyclone activity developments are expected. No developments are expected in the next 5 days. So that's always a good sign, where we're expecting things to be relatively quiet overall in the entire Atlantic Basin. But, you know, sometimes things will pop up a little bit quicker than expected, but we'll keep an eye on those tropical waves and kind of keep you updated on those as necessary. If you'll remember correctly, we had Tropical Storm Bonnie, which for a long time was potential Tropical Cyclone 2 and eventually became Bonnie. That happened right before it made a landfall in Nicaragua. Lots of rain for both Nicaragua and Costa Rica. That's where the landfall occurred, and this system was able to maintain its tropical characteristics, again making a landfall on the eastern side of Central America, crossing over and then reestablishing itself here in the Pacific. Because it was able to maintain its tropical characteristics the entire time, it keeps its same name. So we still have Tropical Storm Bonnie. It's now officially a part of the Eastern Pacific as far as where that's being monitored. It's still our National Hurricane Center that's taken care of it, but it's sort of a different part of that. And at the 4 p.m. update on Sunday, those winds have jumped up to 70 miles an hour. That is close to being a hurricane. Its forward movement is still moving along fairly quickly at 17 miles an hour, and that pressure is still below 1,000. So this storm will continue to strengthen, and we'll expect it to even possibly become a Category 2 hurricane before this is all over with. But we like the direction that it's headed, and that is out into the ocean. So the western coast here of Mexico, it does look like there'll be some minor impacts from that, with some higher swells perhaps, as well as some rain. Maybe the winds change a little bit, but overall, by the time we get to Monday in the afternoon, should be a hurricane with maximum sustained winds at around 80 miles an hour, and then increasing even up to 100 miles an hour by Tuesday afternoon. There's that Category 2 possibilities on Tuesday afternoon, and then maintaining its hurricane strength for the next 5 days, maybe a 1, maybe a 2, as it continues to kind of move out into the Pacific. So again, this is one of those systems it's not super common to have a crossover cyclone like this that starts in the Atlantic and then ends up in the Pacific, and they can do it the other way too. They can start in the Pacific and end up in the Atlantic, which is even more uncommon, but especially this time of the year. But when it's able to kind of cross over Central America, where the land mass is a lot thinner and the interaction isn't sort of tear it apart a little bit, that's sort of what we're having. So Tropical Storm Bonnie does look like it'll be around for a while. So a quick update on the names, because I know everyone's interested in that. Of course, we checked off Bonnie and Colin quite quickly, and then Danielle is going to be the next name that we use. Again, this is in the Atlantic side. The Pacific will still have its own set of names, but the D storm, Danielle, is what we'll be looking for on that next named storm. So glad you found us here on YouTube, and it would be great if you wanted to connect with me on social media as well. Look for me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm at John Dawson, Fox 26. I use each of those just a little bit different, so depending on how you like like to sort of find out about weather, Twitter, there's a lot of information going. If you're in the Houston area, for sure, because that's where I send out those alerts from the National Weather Service immediately. So if you're in the Houston area, for sure you want to be on Twitter. Facebook gets a little bit more of discussion, a little bit more of a bigger picture. And then Instagram, definitely talking about hurricane preparedness. And then also, this is where I get to have a little bit more fun. I talk about my backyard garden a little bit too. So if you want to talk about what's vegetable garden going on, I would love to connect with you as well. And don't forget, download that Fox 26 weather app. That's a free download. That'll also have all the tropical information on it as well. And of course, we will be back again tomorrow, a little bit after 4 p.m. with another update here on YouTube.